George Washington was born a long time ago in 1732. This was a time when America was still a collection of British colonies, and the idea of an independent nation was just a distant dream. The world was vastly different from what we know today, with no modern conveniences and a society deeply rooted in tradition and hierarchy. He was born in Virginia, a place where people grew tobacco. Tobacco was a major cash crop and a significant part of the economy. The vast plantations stretched as far as the eye could see, worked by both indentured servants and enslaved people. The landscape was dotted with large, stately homes of the wealthy plantation owners and small, humble dwellings of the workers. His family was wealthy, which meant they had a good life. They lived in a large house with many rooms surrounded by acres of fertile land. The Washington family was well respected in their community, and they enjoyed the privileges that came with their status. They had access to fine clothes, good food, and the best education available at the time. Young George loved to learn. He was curious about the world around him and spent many hours reading books. His favorite subjects were history and mathematics, and he was always eager to learn new things. His thirst for knowledge was insatiable, and he often stayed up late into the night reading by the light of a candle. He went to school and was taught by his father and older brother. Education was highly valued in the Washington household, and George's father made sure that his children received the best instruction possible. They were taught not only academic subjects, but also the values of honesty, integrity, and hard work. These lessons would stay with George for the rest of his life. He was very good at math and liked to survey land, which means measuring it. Surveying was an important skill in the 18th century, as it was necessary for mapping out new territories and establishing property boundaries. George's talent for surveying earned him respect and recognition at a young age, and he was often called upon to help with important projects. Even though he was born into a wealthy family, George learned the value of hard work. He spent many hours working on the family farm, tending to the crops and animals. This hands-on experience taught him the importance of diligence and perseverance. He understood that success was not just handed to you. It had to be earned through hard work and determination. He was determined and ambitious, qualities that would serve him well later in life. From a young age, George had big dreams and aspirations. He wanted to make a difference in the world and was willing to work hard to achieve his goals. His determination and ambition were evident in everything he did, from his studies to his work on the farm. His early life was a mix of learning and exploring the wilderness around him, shaping the character of the future leader. George loved the outdoors and spent much of his free time exploring the forests and rivers near his home. These adventures helped him develop a deep appreciation for nature and a strong sense of independence. They also taught him valuable survival skills and the importance of being resourceful. All these experiences combined to shape the character of the man who would one day lead a nation to independence. As a young man, Washington became a surveyor. This was not just a job for him. It was an adventure that would shape his future. The skills he learned and the experiences he had during this time were invaluable. Surveying was a respected profession, and it required a keen eye, a steady hand, and a brave heart. This job took him into the wild frontier lands of Virginia. The vast, untamed wilderness was both beautiful and treacherous. Washington had to navigate dense forests, cross raging rivers, and climb rugged mountains. Each day brought new challenges and new discoveries. The frontier was a place of endless possibilities, but it was also a place of great danger. He learned to survive in the wilderness and became a skilled horseman. Riding through the frontier, Washington developed a deep connection with the land. He learned to read the signs of nature, to track animals, and to find his way even in the most difficult terrain. His horse became his trusted companion, and together they explored the vast, uncharted territories. These experiences were dangerous, but exciting. Washington faced many perils, from wild animals to treacherous weather, but he also experienced the thrill of discovery and the satisfaction of overcoming obstacles. Each expedition was a test of his courage and his resourcefulness. The frontier was a place where only the strong and the brave could survive. He faced wild animals, harsh weather, and even hostile Native American tribes. The frontier was home to many dangers, and Washington had to be constantly vigilant. He learned to respect the power of nature and the strength of the native peoples. These encounters taught him valuable lessons about diplomacy and survival. During this time, Washington began his military career. His experiences as a surveyor had prepared him well for the challenges of military life. He joined the Virginia militia, where he quickly proved himself to be a capable and courageous leader. His knowledge of the land and his ability to navigate the wilderness made him an invaluable asset to the militia. He joined the Virginia militia and fought in the French and Indian War. This conflict was a crucial turning point in Washington's life. He faced the horrors of battle and the complexities of military strategy. The war was a brutal and bloody affair, but it was also a time of great learning and growth for Washington. His bravery and leadership qualities were evident, and he gained valuable military experience that would prove crucial in the years to come. Washington's time as a surveyor and a soldier laid the foundation for his future role as a leader of the American Revolution. The skills he developed and the lessons he learned during these early years would serve him well as he led the fight for independence and helped to shape the future of a new nation. The French and Indian War was a big conflict between Britain and France. Washington fought for the British, leading men into battle. One famous battle was the Battle of Jumonville Glen. Washington and his men surprised a French patrol, starting the war in North America. Though he experienced victories, Washington also faced setbacks. At Fort Necessity, he was forced to surrender to the French. However, his courage and determination during the war made him a hero in Virginia and across the colonies. After the war, Washington returned to Mount Vernon, his plantation. He married Martha Dandridge Custis, a wealthy widow. He was now a respected leader and a successful planter. However, trouble was brewing between Britain and the colonies. The British government imposed unfair taxes on the colonies, angering many colonists, including Washington. He believed in the rights of the colonists and joined the growing movement for independence. When the American Revolution began, Washington was chosen to lead the Continental Army. This was a huge responsibility. The Continental Army was outnumbered and outgunned by the powerful British Army. But Washington was a determined leader. He led his men through many hardships, including the harsh winter at Valley Forge. His leadership inspired his troops to keep fighting for freedom. Despite facing many challenges, Washington's strategic brilliance and unwavering resolve led the Continental Army to victory. Section 6. First in Peace. After the war, Washington returned to Mount Vernon, hoping for a peaceful retirement. He longed for the tranquility of his estate, where he could spend his days farming and enjoying the company of his family. The years of conflict had taken a toll on him, and he yearned for a simpler life away from the political turmoil. However, his country needed him again. The fledgling nation was in desperate need of a leader who could guide it through its early, uncertain years. The call to duty was one that Washington could not ignore, despite his personal desire for peace and quiet. He was elected as the first president of the United States. The inauguration was a momentous occasion, filled with hope and anticipation. Washington took the oath of office on April 30th, 1789, in New York City, the nation's temporary capital. His leadership was seen as essential for the survival and success of the new republic. This was a new and challenging role, as he was the first leader of a newly formed nation. There were no precedents to follow, no guidelines to adhere to. Washington had to navigate uncharted waters, making decisions that would set the course for future generations. As president, Washington set many precedents for the new government. He understood the importance of establishing a strong and stable administration. His actions and decisions would serve as a model for all future presidents. He established the cabinet, a group of advisors to help him make decisions. This was a crucial innovation, as it allowed for a more collaborative and informed approach to governance. The cabinet included key figures such as Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton, and Henry Knox, each bringing their expertise to the table. His leadership and vision during these formative years were crucial in shaping the future of the United States. Washington's ability to balance differing viewpoints and his commitment to the principles of democracy helped lay the foundation for a government that could endure and adapt. His legacy as a leader who put the nation's interests above his own personal desires remains a guiding light for all who follow in his footsteps. Section 7. Shaping the nation. During his presidency, Washington faced many challenges. He had to deal with conflicts between different groups and establish a strong federal government. He also made important decisions about the economy and foreign policy. His actions helped to shape the young nation. After serving 2 terms as president, Washington decided to retire from public life. He was tired and wanted to return to Mount Vernon. His decision to step down after 2 terms set a precedent for the peaceful transfer of power in the United States. Section 8. Retirement and Legacy. In his retirement, Washington enjoyed spending time with his family and managing his plantation. He was a respected elder statesman. He died peacefully at Mount Vernon in 1799. The nation mourned the loss of their beloved leader. George Washington is remembered as the father of his country. He's considered one of the most important figures in American history. His legacy of leadership, courage, and integrity continues to inspire generations of Americans. Section 9. Farewell to the Father. George Washington's life was full of challenges and triumphs. From his early days as a surveyor to his time as the first president, he played a pivotal role in shaping America. His story reminds us that even ordinary individuals can achieve extraordinary things with determination and a commitment to serving others. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life of George Washington. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting historical content.